Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm just going to show kind of how we program our specimen. So I've had this in here for about 2 minutes. The timer's about to go off here in a second. All right, so that's 2 minutes. And so next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to take off the top. Now this is 90 degrees Celsius water that's been sitting in, like I said, for roughly 2 minutes. And so now what I'm going to do is, while it's in here, I'm going to program it. And as you can see, this is very, very programmable. My only issue right now when moving over is I do got to be careful not to let it fall in. Ooh. Ooh. Keep it just still in there. And now I'm going to have to hold it as I dunk it in the cold water for freezing. It is a bit of a hassle to do. I'll start the 2-minute timer again. Let's sit there for 2 minutes. Currently, I'm just holding it against the tongue, but we do have clips to clip it on. But the issue with that is sometimes I end up burning myself on the nuts and bolts there. So right now, I'm just going to hold it here for these next 2 minutes, and then I'm going to switch out the jig piece so it goes into the recovery jig. And actually, I didn't even show it here while it's freezing, how quick the heat exchange is, because I've programmed it in this shape. I've left it in for maybe about a minute or so, and it's already keeping this shape that I turned it into. So we're gonna wait that next minute here, and then we're gonna put it back in there. But actually, this is quite interesting to note, because I had originally thought, hey, we need a clip on this side right here. We need to clip it. But if I can just hold it for about a minute in the water, then it actually maintains its shape, which I find to be very, very cool. So after that, we're gonna put it back in the 90-degree water, and we're gonna see if it recovers at all. So let's get this going. Let's turn this on. Gotta hold it down for a bit here. There we go. Make sure there's no glare in it. All right. Timer went off. That's the 2 minutes. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap out the jig piece that it sits on. While I'm doing this, I'm actually watching to make sure to see if that piece even starts recovering with the change in temperature from water to air, but it shouldn't, since they're, air. They're just regular room temperature water and room temperature air. So now I take that off and I put this plate in here. Clip the recovery jig all up here. Now I'm going to take the actual piece off very carefully. And then I'm going to set it in there nice and snug. All right, here we go. Here's it in the recovery jig. There's just a little step that I made when 3D printing. And once I submerge it, I'm gonna start the timer. So here we go. So there we go. I'm gonna clip this on. And we can already see it is recovering awfully quickly in 90-degree temp. I'm going to take a look on the side here. Still seems to be floating, I believe, above the step, because we don't want the sample to drag on the step, otherwise it would slow the recovery process and it wouldn't be as accurate. So that initial recovery seemed awfully quick. However, it seems that it's struggling to go back to its original flat position. Part of me is curious if it's due to air bubbles that are actually on this edge here, because there are a bit of air bubbles. So I wonder if I just barely, oh, they evaporated, they went up. So it might not even be that it's the air bubbles. It could be that it was not able to recover as much as it would have had it been in 75 degree, because 75 so far has been the best recovery that I've tested so far. It's kind of our benchmark. But I'm going to keep this going here for a little bit longer, because it does look like it is slowly recovering back to that original shape. So I'm going to let that sit there for a couple more minutes. And if we hit around 5 minutes and it looks the same, then we can assume that it does not recover fully. Got about 1 more minute here. It looks like it has slowly recovered, but the time in which that takes might take an infinite amount of time, for example. Another thing we can also check is the temperature of the water due to the part, the top piece being open. And it is sitting right around the range of about 0.5 degree within the range of the Sous Vide, as well as our calculations. So that's good. And there we go. That's 5 minutes. It doesn't look like it changed that much from originally. And so therefore, I'm going to end the video here. And that is all I have for this piece here.